welcome everybody to the what is it? Multiple classic Mario games. I forget what the category is always called. Any percent race here. So what this means is it's for the NES. So I believe we're going to be seeing SMB1, SMB2, USA, and SMB3 in succession here at the any percent category. So should be a fun race to watch. Cool part about this is the runners obviously have to adjust to the different games on the fly, which you know normally you don't have to do in a speed run, but in a multi-game speed run you have to, and the physics of each game are very different. So, but yeah, our two racers are Stewie Cartman and Mars, and they're both very good at multiple different Mario games. So yeah, this should be a fun race to see. And I think they're getting started shortly here. Go ahead to get started. So, but yeah, the games are played in order, so we will see SMB1 first. I'm a little interested to see what strats we see from both of them. Where they decide to play a little safer, where they decide to play a little more aggressive. Kind of anticipate in Mario 1 at the very least, they'll both probably play it pretty safe. Being that the difference between finishing with fire and finishing with small Mario is, roughly like 5 to 10 seconds, depending on how you do each thing, of course. So yeah, should be fun. But yeah, want to hear from you all out there. What of the three, which is your favorite Mario game? Are you looking forward to 1, 2, 3? The correct answer is 3, by the way, but some other answers. Oh, I don't see it on. You're not streaming that. Aha. Okay. Sorry. We had some technical difficulties, but we are in 1-1. So yeah, both as expected, getting big Mario here. Expected by me anyway. And we're probably going to see both runners here grabbing fire quickly here in 1-2, the old fire strats that you probably recall as a kid, grabbing mushroom in the first level and potentially even fire, depending on how you did it. So yeah, both grabbing fire here. Looks like Mars potentially with a slight lead here. It does depend on how well, of course, these two are synced, but not a whole lot of separation here. And honestly, don't really expect to see a ton of separation in this game outside of someone taking a death or taking damage. So, and hopefully we won't see that. I guess we, I'm not even gonna mention it actually. I'll mention it after we get out of that spot. But yeah, we're in 4-1 here, and as you can see, the Lakitu in this stage is not very threatening. If you just hold right, he really cannot handle this. It's the ultimate Lakitu counter. Just press the right D-pad while running. So. And both runners are quickly done with 4-1 here. So cool strat going to be coming into play here, likely in 4-2, with a wrong warp from both runners to save ideally a bunch of time here. So this does require them to do this little slide under here. So they're actually shifting Mario further forward on the screen because they want to load that previous warp zone and go. Oh no. Okay. Unfortunately for Stewie, that is not very good. He didn't want to do that, but Mars is on his way to 8-1. And yeah, Stewie's actually going to have to game over here and go back to 4-1, unfortunately. So, pretty big mistake there. That's why I didn't want to mention it, but yeah. Anyway, Mars is on his way to 8-1, which, when you do the stage small, very scary stage. But with Fire Mario, a lot less scary. As you can see, he can take out a lot of these enemies in his pathway. So Fire Mario is very good for this reason. And Stewie will get his second shot here at the wrong warp. And yeah, going to grab the mushroom here. That's a heads-up play to try to get some fire back here in 4-2. You definitely want to have fire for World 8. There are some really annoying enemies that we'll see coming up here. Really important duck jump there from Mars. That one is scary. You don't want to stand up or you will take damage. So very nicely done. And we will see how aggressive Mars takes the jump over the plant here. And yeah, it's just going to do the bonk strats. Very nice. Gives him a consistent Koopa pattern there. And yeah, challenged the Koopa there. You know, not necessarily surprised by that, but it is a little scary. And we're going to see Stewie's next attempt here. Does he get it? And he does. Okay, so Stewie getting the wrong warp here. And will be making his way to World 8. And as you can see, for Mars, this fire is going to come in handy here with the Hammer Bros. So you would also think that it makes sense to shoot them with fire much earlier than he's doing it. However, their hammers can be kind of finicky and do weird things. So you're seeing him get closer to them before taking the shots with fire. So that is intentional. But yeah, with the fire strats, no problem. With 8-3 there for Mars. Did slow down a little bit at the end. You kind of have to anyway to avoid fireworks, so not a huge deal. And making his way into 8-4 here while Stewie is cleaning up the end of 8-1. Looking like a good 8-1 from Stewie. And Mars going to go for 2-frame wall jump here. So wall jump attempt coming up. Does he get it? He does. Very nicely done. All right. And we'll again have this Fire Flower very, very handy here. For damage boosting at the end of the stage here if needed. So he's going to try to keep this fire through the water portion. Does a duck swim there to actually decrease his hitbox to make it so he doesn't get hit by those fire bars. And does Bowser damage him? Of course, but that's why we have Fire Mario. So Mars done with Mario 1. Meanwhile, Stewie having a good World 8 here after the mishap in 4-2. Meanwhile, Mars moving his way into Super Mario Brothers 2, and Toad is really going to be the star here. We do get a couple levels of Luigi as well, but we're going to see a lot of Toad. So if you like Toad, you're going to see a lot of them. The reason we're picking Toad here is because Toad is faster than the other characters while holding an object. So that's also why you see him grabbing an object there. So he can run faster. And Stewie purposely slowing down there, very heads up. As you can see, 242 on the timer. Had he finished with a 243, he would have gotten 3 fireworks and lost some time. All right, we'll see Stewie's 8-4 here while Mars is fighting the Birdo. Okay. And into the wall jump here. Stewie also going for a 2-frame wall jump. Does he get it? Yes, very nicely done. And again, as we go in this water section, pay close attention. Stewie gonna do a duck swim at the beginning here, right there. That halves his hitbox, so only the lower half of his hitbox registers, and purposely ducking the fire bar there. I don't think he got a duck swim off, so he is going top route here. Meanwhile, Mars taking on the 1-2 Birdo, and Stewie challenging and getting a forward Bowser there and ducking under him, heads up move, so Stewie not taking some damage there. Save him a little bit of time. All right, Mars making his way into 1-3. He will be doing a wrong warp here. Or not a wrong warp, a warp, not a wrong warp. But yeah, there is a warp with the vase here at the end of the stage, which he's going to pick up right here. And yep, just takes it safe there, throws it on top, and is down the vase, and we are on our way to World 4. So 4-1 is a pretty straightforward stage. Very nicely done there from Mars, and you can see Stewie doing a wrong warp here in 1-1 to get to the end of the stage. That is intentional, that damage there. I believe Mars did the same thing. But yeah, Mars using that enemy to run much faster here in the ice. And you're going to see him do the same thing here shortly. Sure enough, grabs the Shy Guy. We'll see how aggressive he takes it here. There is a double jump here, and he's not going for the double jump. Okay, fair enough. And a little bit of divergence here. Stewie taking Luigi here for 1-2, which I think Luigi is technically a little faster if it's done properly, because you can use this key to get a quick kill on the final enemy of the stage, the Birdo. Does have to avoid the Fanto there as well as some bullets on the screen. But as you can see, gets a double hit there. Oh, does take a death, unfortunately. Got an egg as he was picking up the object. You can actually, if you pick up an object at the correct time, you do actually get iframes and you're able to avoid obstacles like that. And meanwhile, we see Mars executing a warp here in 4-2 after the whale section. So we're in the world 6, which is the one of the desert portions of Super Mario Brothers 2 here. And does grab the Shy Guy at the beginning. It's going to allow him to run fast. Going to do some nifty duck jumps there to avoid some bullets, and as well as some fire there. Funny little clip that happens. And Stewie going for a nice little grab there of the sniff it. So that was really good. That's not super easy to do, and saves a little bit of time in 1-3 here. And meanwhile, we've got Mars grabbing the key here that he needs in order to fight the Birdo at the end of the stage. So this is our first Birdo in the run where you'll need to kill him with an object, because this one only shoots fire and has a really nice kill there for Mars. Really safe and easy. All right, and now we're going to see Luigi. So Luigi is going to be the star here in the next few stages. So you get to do some cool sequence breaks here in this stage. Gonna spawn that bird there and allow him to do some nifty double jumping there. Allowing him to, again, sequence break the stage. Normally you would have to ride on one of the albatrosses there. But yeah, Mars gets to skip that and has a nice Birdo fight to boot, so... Meanwhile, we get to see 4-2 on Stewie's side here. The second of the ice stages. Gonna grab that Bezo right away and use it to run faster. Gonna have to do some nifty ducks there to avoid some of those enemies. That's that section of 4-2 is rough, as well as this section of 4-2. The whale portion is more difficult than you think it is, particularly if you're off cycle there. So. Stewie takes some damage, shouldn't matter. We'll be able to just run to the end of the stage here. Meanwhile, Mars taking out the Birdo swiftly here, having a really good run of Mario 2. And looking like he's going to be able to get a pretty quick kill here on the Tri-Glide. The Tri-Glide doesn't give him some parting shots there, so, doesn't lose any additional time. As Stewie does a snake grab here in 6-1. If you grab the early snake, which is a little tricky to do, that is a little quicker. And meanwhile, Mars again in 7-1, the last of Luigi's stages here. And, part of the reason Luigi's used in the stages he is because he jumps so high. So you'll see that used a great effect, particularly here, right at the end. There you go. Nice little sequence break there from Mars. The other thing is you can do ladder jumps in this game. So jumps off of ladders with Luigi, if you're holding up plus the left or right, I believe it's a 7-frame window you get in order to press the A button as you come off the ladder. So, allows you to send those ladder sections very, very quickly. And has an excellent Birdo kill there as well. So now we get to see Stewie's attempt here at 6-2. And beautiful there from Stew. Meanwhile, Mars making his way in the 7-2 final level here. Gonna be grabbing these enemies, is on a good pace here in 7-2 to get there for the first vegetable on Wart, which looks like he's going for, based on how quickly he's doing these portions. So does have to do a ladder jump there. This allows him to sequence break the stage here and go above it. And then he's going to come down the exact chain that he needs to go to the door that leads him to the end of the stage. So gets to skip a lot of this level. This level's normally pretty long and grueling, but being able to go up over the top is significant. And meanwhile, Stewie doing the old potion jump there in 6-3. Meanwhile, it looks like Mars taking it a little safe here, so maybe not going for the first cycle here. Okay, interesting. He seems to know what he's doing. that's the important thing. And Stewie getting a nice quick kill there on the Tri-Clyde at 6-3. Very expertly done by Stu. And yes, the Hawk door, aka Michael Hawk, yes, our favorite enemy. And Mars getting a nice kill there on Wart. Was for the extra veggie, but was too late there. And as he enters the door, it is now on to Mario 3. So, yeah, Stewie is cleaning up the end of SMB2 here. Mario 3 does have an opportunity for Stewie to pick up some time. It is Stewie's best game. But in addition, it is the game where some RNG does come into play in World 8. So can be up to a minute time swing here. I'm not quite sure what their difference is, but it can't be too much more than that. Meanwhile, Mars making his way out of the first stage. There is a pretty significant difference in the movement speed in Mario 3, as you can tell. There is what's called a P meter at the bottom, so they're going to try to maintain that P speed as often as they possibly can throughout the course of this game, which will allow them to obviously complete it as fast as possible. So yeah, the mushroom grab in the first stage is intentional. Is going to use the shell kick here, and is going to go for the leaf here as well. In 1-3, could have gone for it in the fortress, but playing Mario 3 a little safer here. Is going to use the secret here in order to get the whistle at the end of the stage, which we will need 2 of these. So the good news for us is that it's in this stage and it's in the very next stage, the fortress. So we'll see back-to-back whistles here, which if used in succession does allow you to warp to World 8. Meanwhile, Stewie finishing up 7-2 in SMB2. We're going to see our friend Mike Hawk again. There he is. And Stewie going for the damage boost strats. Oh boy. Doesn't get the double hit, so had to be a little careful there. Meanwhile, Mars picking up the whistle, and we're going to see a quick double whistle here. And yeah, we're going to see some buffer strats from Stewie, I think, coming out here. Or maybe not. He knows what he's doing. Okay, fair enough. All right. Meanwhile, Mars making his way in the first of the auto-scrollers here in World 8. So there are quite a few of these in World 8, which does slow the game down quite a bit. The name of the game here in World 8 is really just hold right and stay on the edge of the screen there. You know what's coming up next? It's not a problem. And Stewie's going to be joining him here in Mario 3, so the difference between them here is World 1, so a couple here. And Stewie, we see, gonna forgo the mushroom, so Stewie's gonna grab the mushroom in 1-3. We'll see a bit of route divergence here, which will be neat. Stewie going with the little more aggressive route here. I don't quite know what's going on Stewie's screen. Anyway. Meanwhile, Mars again goes biding his time in the auto-scroller. Oh, here we go. Got Stewie in the second stage here, getting some P speed. Looking like he didn't get the early P speed, but he got the backup P speed. So good 1-2 from Stu. And is he gonna go for the difficult jump here? Probably. Yes, he is. So that small little jump is the optimal strat here. Gonna grab that mushroom while maintaining P speed. So going to be able to pick up a little bit of time here. Would have ideally liked to have kept that shell, but that's not a huge deal. Plays the block safe there, and is going to make his way to the whistle. Meanwhile, we've got Mars taking on the demi-boss here of the first auto-scroller, the Boomerang Bro. Not a very menacing boss to put at the end of the stage. Really important strat here coming out from Mars. That block there does contain a Fire Flower, which he's going to try to grab here by getting P speed. He does get it and grabs the block. So nicely done from Mars. That is important because this Fire Flower is going to save him 3 seconds on the Boom Boom in this stage, as well as any other stage that he fights a Boom Boom. So very nice grab there. And since it's done on an auto scroller, you're only losing the time it takes to transform, which in the case of Mario 3 is about half a second. So, you know, whenever you can lose half a second to save 3, it's a pretty good trade. And Stewie is starting the first auto scroller here as well. And as you can see, just, yeah, the auto scrollers, the key thing here is just pay attention to what's going on. You know, for the most part, they're really going to be hugging the right of the screen because they know exactly what to expect next. These are obviously much more difficult when you don't know what you're doing, but the nice thing is the levels are always played the same. So very, very easy to know what's going to happen next. And as you can see, Mars taking out that Boom Boom really, really quick there with the fire, with the 5 fireballs. And he's on his way to the hands, and we'll see how many he gets. There are 3 hand stages, each one about 20 seconds each, so he gets pulled in by the middle one. Each stage is a 50-50 as to whether or not you get pulled in. Of the 3, the second hand is slightly faster than the others, so if you're going to get a hand, this one is pretty good to get. And we'll see if he makes it past the 3rd one, and he does. So 1 hand for Mars there. Pretty good. Standard RNG, but on the good side of standard. And so we've got the airship here, the fast airship, which moves twice as fast as a normal autoscroller. You can see the 2 autoscrollers, how fast the one on Mars's screen is scrolling compared to the other one. So yeah, this one moves at twice the speed of normal ones in the game, and that is unusual because it's the only stage that does this. And as you can see, having the Fire Flower here really helps, allows him to take out these enemies that would otherwise be in his way. But he also knows when to jump, right? Because again, you know, it's one of those things where he's played the game so many times that he knows exactly what's coming next. And in that stage in particular, it's really important to anticipate things. All right. Let's see here. So Mars making his way to 8-1 here. And is going to forgo the star strat and is going to forgo the early P speed, but is going to build the later P speed there. Nicely done. And is going to make his way out of the stage. Kind of a tougher level there, 8-1 in the run here. And 8-2 is also a tough stage here. We're going to see him go over the note blocks here, this section, and try to go up top in order to avoid the sun. Well done. And, oh, take some damage there. Not a huge deal. He does have the ability to pick up a Fire Flower very early in the next stage. Meanwhile, we see Stewie cleaning up the Boom Boom. He also was able to pick up his early fire. So we're going to see Stewie's attempt at crossing the hands. As I mentioned, Mars picking up the early fire here in the fortress, so that one's important for him to pick up. It is the last opportunity for him to pick up an item that is able to take out Bowser quickly. Meanwhile, Stewie also getting the second hand here. And Mars is going to try to one-cycle the conveyor rooms here, so that first P switch, you are able to make it into the last room in a single cycle, which he did there. Assuming you don't bump on anything. And that, as I said, is his last opportunity to have fire. So he does want to keep this fire flower to the end of the game. Bowser, at the end of the game, you are able to take him out with 35 fireballs. It looks like Stewie got 2 hands here, so a little bit of bad luck for Stu there. Is actually technically average luck, so you know, in terms of probability, 3 out of 8 chance of getting 2 hands, 3 out of 8 chance of getting 1 hand, 1 out of 8 chance of getting 3, and 1 out of 8 chance of getting 0. So average luck, but not the side of average luck you want to be on. And yeah, we're gonna see Mars use that concept to great effect here, that holding right on the stage, able to take out all those rocky wrenches with his fire flower. So the final auto scroller here is not very scary if you just hold right and you know, react to what's coming on screen. And Stu taking out the Boom Boom there in the airship. See his attempt at 8-1, see if he goes for the early P speed or not. And 5 fireballs, and the Boom Boom is down. So Mars is going to be making his way to Bowser's Castle here. And meanwhile, Stewie is going for the early P speed. Good fireball there, does get it. As you can see, got it quite a bit earlier than Mars did. Mars going to forgo going for the clip there. There is a clip you can take instead of using that donut that saves about 1.5 seconds, but clips in this game are subpixel dependent. That clip is not. That clip anybody can do. As long as you make it up over that block, it will clip you through the wall. So Mars is going to try to keep this P speed in Bowser's Castle here. Good duck jumping there to make sure he makes it up to those donut blocks. And you see Bowser, and 35 fireballs later, he should be down here. Mars bailing a little bit there, taking a little safe, but we'll have the opportunity to finish him up here. So nicely done for Mars. So time for Mars is going to occur as he enters the door here. Interesting thing about Mario 3 is you can actually just hold up to buffer to enter this door, so you enter it on the first frame possible every time, and there's time for Mars. Meanwhile, we've got Stewie here in 8 fort. Equipping that leaf, he did have a couple of them there, re-getting his fire like Mars did. So yeah, Mars with a time in the 25-minute range. Pretty good. He had a pretty good run there. Yeah, that's a very quick trilogy run. And meanwhile, Stewie here finishing up the boom. And making his way to the final auto scroll. The timing for this category is a little weird too. The load times between games are removed, so when they retime things, it's based on the individual time of each game. Yeah, I think you get like 15 seconds roughly to switch between games before they'll start counting time towards the timer, so you can't like complete Mario 1, go AFK for 2 hours, come back, do Mario 2. But yeah. Oh, sure. And I'm joined by Mars here as Stewie's finishing up the auto scroller. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, he had a pretty good run there. I don't really recall any major mistakes. Maybe the biggest one was losing fire in 8-2 throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, I think I shot my fireball like in the wrong direction, and then when I went to turn around, I didn't shoot him, so I got hit. But that was like 2, maybe 3 seconds, if anything.
Yeah, it's not like major. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a PB actually for Trilogy by like 17 seconds, I think.
Okay.
18 seconds, something like that.
I was gonna say, I'm like, this is probably pretty close to a PB for you. So while Stewie gets the elevator clip, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll obviously have to wait for the retime of the individual games there. But yeah, that's pretty good. Really, I guess your biggest time save would be removing the hand. So
I think my biggest time save over PB was having a better 2U, because I think the 2U in my PB
yeah,
was like
yeah,
a 905, and then this one I think was like an 850 or something.
yeah, yeah. It definitely would have been sub 9. It was quite good. Um, I just mean versus this PB on a PB again, your biggest time save will be the hand. Like there's obviously
Mhm.
20 seconds of of time save there.
Yeah.
Um, it looked like you probably would have had a sub 11 Mario 3 otherwise. So and
Yeah.
time for Stewie.
GG's to Stewie.
Yeah, he had some trouble in Mario 1, the wrong warp. He had missed it.
Oh.
So he had the game over, unfortunately.
Oh dang. Yeah, I'm always paranoid about that, scrolling the screen or
Yeah.
get hit.
I didn't want to mention it, and I didn't until it actually happened. I was going to mention it in 4-1. I'm like, I'm not going to mention it because I'm not going to jinx things. And then it happened anyway. Because, yeah, that would definitely be my biggest worry of running this category would be that.
Especially when you get to like the bigger categories and you can like choose your own game order. And usually I do Mario 1 last.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's 4-2 and 8-2 are like always like in the forefront of my mind.
Oh,
When I do
man.
this game.
Mario 1 last. Yeah, ugh. I mean, it could be worse. You could be doing 2J last. I think that would be the worst, but
I have done 2J last.
oh man.
It is a little nerve-wracking, but
Yeah. and we're also joined by Stewie. How's it going, Stu?
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. Wrong warps, huh? Not
Yeah, and I was doing the easy method,
yeah.
the one that's idiot proof, and then I find a way to yeah.
You went very far right on the pipe.
Yeah, that was. I knew right away that that was not gonna work, and then
Yeah.
just my immediate reaction was just like, all right, well, this sucks.
Yep, time to game over. Mars managed the PB during that and
Congrats.
had a time
thank
in the
you.
low 25s, which is kind of like
Oh
pretty
wow.
nuts for yeah. Obviously it's going to be lower than that, right? Once we remove the loads, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That's a
think
very
it's like
good
a
time.
25-11 maybe without loads, something like that.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
I'd guess.
Yeah.
I
Very,
was
very
kind of
good
hoping
run.
for no hands. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for no hands. I could have had a 24. That would have been pretty cool. But
I was casually like just lurking, like just with the chat, just by the off chance there were like some questions, and then I saw the one hand, and I'm like, oh, this might actually be a pacer here.
yeah, I got the best luck imaginable for hands.
Well, outside of getting none of them, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, about that SMB2, how about that casual game of chicken in 1-2?
Yeah, that was yeah. And then, you picked it up and you decided to shoot then. So unlucky.
Yeah. Another unlucky break right there. Oh well.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, I mean, GG's to both of you there.
Thank you.
Really good runs, and congrats on the PB there. Very close to the old sub 25. Not too many of those in existence. So
Yeah, I'm gonna check the leaderboard really quickly just to see how many there are, and I don't think there's that many.
I think there's
I think there's like 4 people.
Yeah, there are 4 24s on the leaderboard. It's Joshua 69, ILM, Haxer, and MW.
Yep, that is correct. Let's see. Well, guys, anything to add here before we move on to the next game?
I think after SMB2, I just decided to play SMB3 a little bit more aggressively than I normally would during a marathon run. I think the only thing that I didn't go for was just the orb jump, but in a race setting or like any marathon run, I never go for that because it's just not worth it.
Sure.
It's a huge penalty for missing that versus what, the half second that it saves. It's not worth it.
There's a question, should this include the Lost Levels? So it's the NES trilogy that is part of the Famicom trilogy. So
there is another category on the multi-game board that actually does have Lost Levels. It's the quadrilogy. So if you like all 4 8-bit games, there you go.
Correct. So yeah, we've got Famicom trilogy, NES trilogy, and quadrilogy are the options there for the 4 NES ones. Well, yeah, it was fun watching that one and commentating, and good luck to both of you on your future runs. Looks like we've got Mario RPG next, which is always fun, and luck to RGL for the rest of this Mar 10 marathon.
Yeah. GG's again, Mars, and hope to do another race with you again soon.
Yeah, GG's too. It was fun. Good job.
Thank you.